Hi, I'm going to talk about two different red sport paddleboards in the sport model. This one is a slightly newer one. It's the current model, 2019 to 2020 model, and this one's a 2018 model. And this one's slightly longer as well. So basically what we've got here is a sort of a slightly less of an all-rounder board and more of a sort of leaning towards touring. So it's for longer journeys. It's a little narrower and a little bit more pointed at the front to help sort of break through the water. So it's not quite as stable, so not quite as good for beginners, but better if you're a little bit more advanced and you want something a little bit more sporty, I guess. This is my board, the slightly bigger board, which is a higher weight load, which I'll tell you later about when I've looked it up. And this one has a lighter load, but it's a little bit shorter in length by only 3 inches and a little bit narrower. Stats of the boards. It's quite interesting because Red do 2 sport boards. They do 3 sport boards. This board is a smaller board, 11 foot, whereas this board is 11 foot 3 inches. So it's only 3 inches longer and only 2 inches wider at 32 inches wide versus 30 inches wide. But with that, you get a rider weight of 110 kilos on here. So if you're going to carry extra weight or you're a bigger person, this board is a lot better for you because it's got that considerably more, whereas this is only 90 kilos. So you get like an extra 20 kilos more weight with only 3 inches longer. There is a slight payoff in the fact this board is 10 kilos in weight, whereas this one's 9.7, but that's only 400 grams, so it's negligible really. So yeah, I'll go through now the different features you get on the board. This is the current model. So you get a ram mount at the front, which is a bit annoying actually, because they're quite expensive to buy the accessories for, so I never use mine, but it's a sort of tripod sized screw and you can buy lots of accessories for this, like GPS attachments, GoPro, phone holder, all sorts of things like that. But yeah, I don't use that because of the expense in buying the accessories. Then we got the cargo straps. This one's actually, interestingly, broke the other day on our camping trip. It looks like it's at £5 to buy a new little rubber loop, and you glue it on with PVC glue. So we'll make another video showing how to repair that. Then we've got a nice big grab handle in the middle here. We've got this textured rubber grip, which is fantastic because it doesn't actually pick up too much dirt, but it's very nice and grippy and nice and soft under your feet. Interestingly then, at the side here, we've got this sort of RSS system, I think it's called, which is like a sort of carbon rod that slides in down both sides of the board, and what this does is it makes the board really nice and stiff when you stand on it, which I'll demonstrate later. And we'll just go to the back where you've got one more grab handle. And it's got a valve at the back here, which is quite a good little system, and I think these can go up to 25 psi, which is pretty hard. I only do mine to about 18 to 20 because that seems fine, but yeah, well, I'll show you in a minute. This is pumped up to 20 psi as of a few days ago, so we'll see how much it flexes. Okay, I'm just going to demo how much flex you get, and hopefully with this batten system it should make it flex a little bit less. They're quite stiff boards, these. That's me squatting down so I get in shot, standing on it, and it doesn't feel too flexy, like I'm giving it a bit of a wobble, and it's very stiff. They're good solid boards, these. Right, accessories, let's do that. So interestingly, we've got 2 different paddles here to show you the comparison between. Now this is the standard paddle that comes free with the kit. So it's a 3-parter, both of them are 3-parters. This one's got a plastic end and this one's got a carbon end. So it's a little bit more solid than this cheap plasticky one. Ratchets in. And then with this one, you've got like a little groove slides into, and you can adjust the handle height as required. It's a pretty solid paddle, not bad for a free kit one, but yeah, I'll show you the difference now. This one has a much more solid end to it, so it doesn't flex as much as you put it through the water, which gives you a bit more power. And it's got a similar system, slightly different with the end bit. With this bit, it's got on the handle here, it lifts up and that basically expands this little bung at the end here to lock it in place. Now interestingly, nobody told me this, you need to leave this up when you pack it away, because if you leave this shut and the bung is compressed, it gets squashed in that position and it's very difficult to get in and out. So if you get one of these, make sure when you pack it away you just leave that open all the time. So that slides in. You can buy everything new from Red, which is quite good, but you don't want to do that. And then there you go, that's the upgraded paddle. Then another thing which I've upgraded on mine is the fins. So this is the fin that both Red sport boards come with. It's a good fin, nice and long, but it's got like a universal mount on it. So I bought one from another company online. I'll put the details in, and it's slightly shorter in length. So this I find catches because it's so long. It gets caught on things as you're travelling through the water. If you're going through a river and there's trees down, or like something under the surface, like a bit of a low weir or something, it catches. So having a couple of inches shorter in length helps a little bit. So I've been using that, and it makes up for it by being a bit wider in volume, so it still tracks the board nice and straight. Other than that, we've got a leash, nice solid leash, not much to talk about there. Little repair kit with your glue and patches. The pump, the Titan pump, which is a really good pump actually, they're very solid, and it's got this attachment here which you link in, and then when you pump it then uses both the large chamber and the small chamber. But when it gets hard, when you get to sort of a, I don't know, about 1 to 2 psi, when you get to about 10 psi, it gets quite tough pumping it. So at that stage you can take the little valve out and link it on there, and then it just uses the smaller chamber, which makes it a lot easier to pump. And it actually is a fantastic pump. It's hard work still, but really good, quite quick. One of the negatives with the Red paddleboards is they have no handle on the front here to pick it up with, which is fine if you're carrying it on your own without any kit on, but when you do a bit of touring, or and you've loaded this all up with your heavy gear, you might want to share with somebody, and somebody grab the back handle, somebody the front. Now, you can grab this loop and it's very strong and solid, but it really digs into your fingers carrying that little metal loop. So I bought off the internet one of these little foam things which is used as a float for like a camera or mobile phone. They're very cheap on Amazon, and I just sort of poke it through here, and then you can carry it with both hands or one finger through that. It's a good cheap way of carrying something, carrying the board without it really digging into your fingers, which is quite a nice little handy tip if you buy one of these boards. Okay, I'm going to flip the board over and show you how the fin works. Okay, so I screw this little loop into here very slightly, and then I drop it down and slide it up to the front. Then I unscrew this, leaving the metal catch in the bottom there. Now the fin has like a little bit at the back that slides down there, and the front goes in here. So you do back first, in, slide it to the back of the board, and then push down, and that little hole there lines up with the metal catch below, and you just simply screw it down, just finger tight's fine, and then that locks this firmly in place. That won't go anywhere, and that's a nice, as you can see, it's pretty deep in the water, but that makes the board track really straight. They're very straight tracking boards. It's actually quite difficult to get them to turn sometimes if you're trying to manoeuvre around in a tight circle, but for going long distances they're nice and good tracking board. So I'm just going to show you the backpack and packing it all away. So they come with a pretty solid backpack actually, and it's got like a little mark in here that shows you where all of the accessories sit. Everything fits in here nicely, and it's got a very solid zip. It comes up right up. Got a grab handle on top, and then it's got wheels on the bottom, on the back here, so you can sort of, which I usually do, sort of wheel it along, or they all sort of fold away, but you've got straps which you can adjust, and in here you've got a little waist strap as well, however that comes out. One, two, you can sort of pick it up that. Clip that on, and then you've got as a backpack. So I'll show you deflating it. At the back here you've got a valve. This is very loud. And you push the pin in and rotate it round. And it deflates. And you have to remember to take the battens out, which I'll show you. On this board you have to remember, before you can fold it away, to remove the side supports. So you just slide those out, and there's one each side like that. Something we noticed that's a sort of upgrade on the newer bags. On the 2019 onwards bag, you've got a different system to put the straps away. So it's a very similar bag in every other sense, but it velcros from down the bottom to up the top and completely opens up. So then you can take these straps out and you just simply fold the velcro back underneath. Like that comes out. Up like that, and it's a lot quicker to sort of get the straps out and back again, as opposed to sort of feeding them all in and loosening and tightening them. So then you can get them to the right tightness. And also these feel a bit more padded and secure. So there's a little bit of an improvement on the newer bags if you're buying the current model. So I hope you liked that little review of the two red paddleboards. Yeah, and like and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment of any sort of details you've found with different paddleboards that you're interested in, that you've got advice for other people. Yeah, it's a good community thing. It's nice to have other people's input. Thank you.